Hello, and welcome to another Brief Thoughts for Others. Today, we're going to be covering two movies again. There's a lot of stuff coming out, and a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. And especially as we move into October, I'd like to talk about more horror movies. But these two movies are pretty big as far as what I wanted to talk about. So today we will be talking about Megalopolis, a Fable, and Joker Folie, or is it the use of Joker 2, whatever. I don't speak French. But yeah, these were both really interesting movies that I happened to catch this week, and so I wanted to talk about both of them. We'll start with Megalopolis. So Megalopolis, a Fable, is Francis Ford Coppola's entirely self-financed dream passion project, and yeah, this is a movie where I was very glad that I had a few drinks before seeing it, because yeah, basically if you're looking to watch a movie where you will have no idea why the things that are happening, I guess I'd recommend it then. It's quite a fun theater experience, and so on that level I'd recommend it. If you're looking for a good story, well written dialogue, all that stuff, yeah, no, skip this one. But so now I'm gonna go into spoilers for Megalopolis. So hopefully, if you're trying to avoid that, then you can just sort of scan through the video when the poster changes to the Joker poster. If you're here for that, then you can skip to that section. But so basically, Megalopolis is this movie about this weird alt history where basically, so Adam Driver discovers that he can stop time, and I think we're supposed to believe that he uses that ability to gain influence, and he becomes the lead of the Department of Architecture. I think that's what they are. Basically, he can just go around blowing up buildings whenever he wants. Then he's got this magical material called the Megalon that it can be used to do anything. And then New York is now New Rome, and you've got Giancarlo Esposito. He's the mayor, and Cyril's mom is his wife, and they have a daughter that for some reason Adam Driver's time stop doesn't work on her, and so she and Adam Driver, they form this relationship. And then you've got the other side is Adam Driver's family, where you have his uncle owns the bank, and then I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the movie, Shia LaBeouf is the guy who owns the bank's son, and then by the end of the movie he's calling him Grandpa, and he's his grandson, but I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the movie he's his son. But basically, Shia LaBeouf is Adam Driver's cousin, and so yeah, he'd have to be his son, because then it wouldn't make sense, because he wouldn't be his cousin then. Yeah, so you can already see in how I'm talking about it, how basically by the end of this movie, almost nothing that you have learned before will be relevant. To the point where I can't wait until this comes on to like streaming or something to take this bit by bit, because there are so many different moments in the film where it thinks it's being really important, and so it will have like Lawrence Fishburne read out text that's on screen, or Adam Driver will repeat a phrase over and over, and for the life of me, I can't remember any of them because there are so many and they happen in such like quick succession that it's really hard to hold on to any of them. But I don't know, it's a really funny movie to watch, just knowing that like, wow, someone put this together thinking this will be artistically brilliant. And it comes from someone who at one point in time had the capacity to make really artistically brilliant like movies. And so it's really funny, like some of the green screen looks really bad. They had a circus performance at one point that reminded me of the Star Wars holiday special, like the holographic circus performance that they watch. It looks a lot like that. It's not supposed to, but the way they did the green screen made them look very small. Yeah, there are just watching Adam Driver like on his fake little drug trip is really funny. A lot of the like line delivery and stuff is really funny. The one I know I've seen going around X is Adam Driver's "Go Back to the Club." That's really funny. I really like the old guys. Wow, look at my boner. And like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the film is trying to be funny, but most of the time it's like, no, I think it's trying to be very serious. It ends up being very funny, because it's sort of like when a little kid like tries to tell you this like really epic story, and then they just keep like getting things wrong along the way, and because they're so little, you just sort of like humor them. So like you're like the whole time you're just kind of like grinning and like trying to hold back laughter. And so yeah, so ironically, I really enjoyed Megalopolis. Like, unironically, no, it's god awful. I would not recommend it. See, because I really like it, because I was a little intoxicated, but also, like, I'm really into movies and stuff, and I know I think we had, like, 7 people in our theater when I saw it, but we had 6 by the end, because one guy walked out, and I can understand that. It's a movie where you will just constantly say what the fuck throughout, and I can definitely see people reaching their limit of like, okay, that's enough saying what the fuck, I'm out, there's no reason to stay. I can definitely see that, and I understand that, but if you're into movies, like you want to see something that's kind of ironic and bad, I definitely recommend getting a few drinks in then going to see this. I was disappointed my showing did not have the the Megalopolis moment. the screen cropped down so that you could have that moment. But unfortunately, the theater I went to did not did not plan on sending anyone out. So if you can find a theater that will do that, I would really recommend that, because I think that, especially if you were to take someone along with you that had no idea what they were in for, I think that would be really funny to just because that happens like an hour, maybe an hour and a half into the movie, and so I could see them just like losing their shit at like, what the hell is going on now? But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it if you're looking to watch it unironically. If you're looking for like a so bad it's good movie, I would recommend it. It can be a bit boring, even with that, because it is quite long. But I'd fall on the side of recommending it for that. And then, yeah, I guess we'll move on. Joker 2 is kind of a weird out there movie, a lot like Megalopolis. But it's definitely a lot more serious, and it achieves a lot more of those serious goals. However, I really don't know that I'd recommend it. I think if you really liked the first one, I'd really debate whether or not you should go see the new one. If you like half liked the first one, I guess yeah, if you weren't very passionate about the first one, or if you didn't like it, then I wouldn't recommend seeing the sequel. And I don't even because I really liked the first Joker. I think it's a great film, and I don't know that I'd really recommend the sequel. There's a lot of stuff in there that I think is well done. Then there's a lot of stuff that I don't think is well done. So we'll get into spoilers for that. So strap in, I guess. So this is a musical, which I'm fine with. I don't particularly go out of my way to watch musicals, but I don't really mind musicals all that much. The one thing that I do mind in a lot of musicals is that a lot of the time the music, or like the musical number, feels like it stops the progression of the story. And unfortunately, I think most of the time that is the case in Joker 2. Especially when they let you know pretty early on that, yeah, all of the musical sequences, those are all going to be inside his head. And it's like, oh, that's really lame. And it's not that, because some of the lyrics in the songs, they do inform what the characters are thinking about, and some of the events that happen in the fantasies give you a better insight into Arthur's mind. But it's really hard, at least for me, to keep my brain engaged when it's just, oh, this is Fantasyland. Okay, cool. So nothing that happens here will really matter. So I'm just kind of sat there the whole time hey, if we go back to the actual story? And I feel kind of weird because while I like what's there for the actual story, it really doesn't feel like they had a whole lot. Ultimately looking at it as a whole, I really don't know that they had that much story. And so they may have genuinely just stapled on the musical numbers afterwards to try and fill out the plot and fill out the runtime. And like, I don't know, I like a lot of stuff, but then some of that stuff goes nowhere. Where like I really liked the scene with Gary on the stand. That's a really good scene. And I thought, because they have Gary come out and say that, like, no, this isn't an Arthur that I knew, like, this is a different person. Like I never knew like this side of Arthur. This Arthur's scaring me. And like he even reflects back to Arthur that like you were the only one that was ever nice to me. So like why would you do this in front of me? And it's like I really like that, but then I don't feel like the film really builds on that, which is kind of disappointing. And like I don't know, because they keep trying to build on this this angle of like, oh, Arthur and Joker might be two separate personalities, which feels really weird because it's like, well, that's clearly not what the first film was going for, and so it feels kind of weird to staple that on now. But then to have at the end, to have Arthur come out and say that, like, no, we are the same person, and he's ashamed of doing that stuff, that feels really out of character. Like, I do think that Arthur would be the kind of character that, he'd do the same thing that he did on the Murray Franklin show. He'd be like, no, these people are awful. I'm tired of being, like, mistreated. And like that would have been a good opportunity for him to bring up that, like, you know what? Even when I'm mistreated, the Arkham guards, they did some not so great things to me. And another inmate. But then, like, yeah, nothing really comes of that. And he ends up he's kind of pathetic by the end. And I also think at the end is his visitor. Because, like, there's no one left that would visit him. Really. Like, maybe Gary, but I really doubt that. And then, like, I don't know if I'm... Because I really like DC lore and, like, comic book stuff. And I got what they were doing with Harvey Dent. That was pretty apparent, but... like, I don't know if the Arkham inmates, because there's at least two of them that they really highlight, and I don't know if I'm supposed to know who they are or not, which feels a little weird, where it's like, oh, if I am supposed to know who they are, I don't, and so that should have been made more clear by the film. Or if I'm not supposed to know who they are, then, like, if they're original characters, I wish they got a bit more. Because I was just sort of... They feel half-baked. They really feel almost like keys that don't jingle. Which is really kind of awkward. And, like, I don't know. I'm fine with the ending of the story. Like, I get it. They didn't really want to make a sequel. They're not. I don't think they'll make another sequel to this, period. But, like, yeah, I don't... It does kind of feel like a betrayal, like almost a cowardly thing to do, where it feels a bit like they were like, oh no, like, people took the wrong message from the first one. Like, we have to instill in them that, like, Arthur's a bad guy. And it's like, God, like, you are making movies for adults, right? Like, it's rated R. Like, maybe you could let people decide their own mind on that stuff. Like, maybe you could trust that people aren't actually, like, believing that, oh yeah, I should just go out there and murder anyone I think is a bully. Like, maybe that's not the case. But I don't know. I really don't think I'd recommend it. I really wanted to, but like, I don't know. I could be wrong. I could see some interpretation later that completely changes my mind. I've only seen it once, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about Joker 2, but I think that's pretty much it as far as my brief thoughts go. So I hope you enjoyed these reviews, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.